Hi everybody, and welcome to the Life Mastery Show, midday on a Thursday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So my name is Adrian Hanks, author of Where Am I Right Now? And also author of my children's book, Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret. And it's great to be here on this show again. So welcome to all of those that are tuning in live, and welcome to those of you that are listening to the recording. I love to do this show every Thursday. Today I am actually in my studio on the Gold Coast. I've been different places during the show. The last few weeks I've been down in Byron Bay on the east coast of Australia. And today I am live from my studio on the Gold Coast. So big welcome. Got a few things I want to share with you today, but this is all about you. This is about helping to support you in your life with all things life mastery. And what I love to do on this show, and what keeps the show going, is when you ask me questions. Because if you ask me questions, we can get some engagement going. I can give you some answers to that, some insights into that. And just remembering, I'm not using that psychic ability. I'm not going into the realm of using psychics and downloading information. What I'm trying to do here is to empower you to ask a very clear question about some aspect of your life from that spiritual psychotherapeutic perspective. I'll see what I can do to support you in that journey. So please try and be really clear and not too generic in your questions, because what I love to do in the life mastery work is get people to be really more conscious on the way they think and on the way they communicate, because it's a big part of getting in tune with ourselves, with being a master of our lives. So if you can do that, that'll be absolutely fantastic. So all you need to do is type your question down. It'll pop up in the box. I can read it and then I can respond to that question. Last week we had some great questions, and what I want to focus on a little bit today, if we need a bit of guidance and steering in, is really looking at that aspect of your health and well-being. Are you really looking after yourself in a healthy way? Physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And I'd just like to start with a little bit of a quote, and it comes from one of my favorite books. One of my main teachers in life, who's been my spiritual teacher now for over 25 years, is Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner was around the turn of the century, died in 1925. So nearly 100 years now. He hasn't been with us physically, but he's certainly been around in the spiritual realm. So he's been my teacher, many of his books and things. And one of the books that I've been studying for over 20 years now is a book called Agriculture, where he lays down the foundations and speaks about biodynamic agriculture and gardening. You may have heard of biodynamics. It's a form of organic gardening and farming, but it has a very steep spiritual aspect to it. And right at the beginning of the book, it's actually a bit of a throwback. You might see the little sticker here. This was the organic certified biodynamic farm I had in Tasmania for a few years, and that's one of my labels that I used to put on my produce. So going back a little bit, and right at the beginning of the book, in the introduction, Rudolf Steiner's asked a question about spirituality and why it is on this planet that spirituality is such a difficult thing for people to follow and for people to embrace and to bring into their being. And his response was quite incredible. He said it's a matter of nutrition, because if we are not putting the nutrition into our bodies, if we're not nutritious, if we're not able to have that strength through nutrition in our being, it's very hard, it's very difficult to hold the spirit, because we're not able to hold it. And I liken that to if you do some clay work and you make a cup and you want to hold something in it. Well, if it's not made correctly, if it's not baked correctly, if it's not formed correctly, it's very hard to hold the liquid in it. It would leak if it's not kilned, if it's not the right shape, if it's got holes in it, it would leak. And energetically, if we're not bringing in the right nutrition for ourselves, physically, but also emotionally, mentally, and we don't have that strength and nutrition in our being, it's easy to get quite sick or not to stay healthy. Therefore, the spirit cannot live within us because the container isn't strong enough. And I thought that was a really great response. I'm sort of ad-libbing onto that response a little bit to get a clear picture of that. And I know a lot in this new age spiritual space that we're all living in now, there are a lot of unhealthy people, physically unhealthy. You know, I go to spiritual shows and there's a lot of people working in that industry who are not well, they're not healthy, physically not healthy. And a lot of it is to do with what we put into our bodies. It's about the nutrition, the food, the liquids, you know, the medications that we put into our body. They all have an impact. So if we don't have that strength to hold the spirit, you know, we can not imbue that spirit deep enough or strong enough. So I want to focus on that a little bit today if we need some steering. This is open to you to ask any questions what you like, but I just want to steer it in that direction because I'm really passionate about helping people to get healthier so they can actually hold that spirit. Because in this industry, in the spiritual industry or the health and well-being industry, the burnout rate is really high, really high. Like within 3 years, a lot of people who start to work in this space get really sick, physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, psychically. And it's because of that one aspect, it's because of that lack of nutrition in our being. So I just want to focus on that today. So look, if you have any questions, please type them in there now and let's get the show started with some questions. It's a great way to engage with you. And I can do that. And what I want to do today, I want to offer a few things. Want to offer you the opportunity to grab one of my children's book, Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret, beautifully illustrated by my friend Clint. These are all illustrated with crayon, would you believe? So what an amazing artist. So I'm the author and he's the artist, and there's some amazing pieces of artwork in here. Very bright, very colourful. And I want to give a few of these away today. So I've got a few away today. So anybody that asks a question today on this show, and if they then PM me and send me their address, I will post one of these books out to you today. So I just want to do that as a gift for those people that choose to engage today. So today, if you ask a question, I will be sending you out a copy of Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. There's Wendy here with her grandmother. So if you want a copy of this book, the way you get it today for free, post it out to you, is to ask a question on here. Remember to ask a very clear and conscious question as well. And I won't be using psychic ability. I want to empower you to be a bit more self-empowered in the journey. So who's got the fingers to start typing, and let's get some questions rolling in, because usually once it starts, it just continues, but it needs a couple of brave souls to start asking questions to get the show started. And if you want to get started, maybe just say, hello, Adrian, hi, and I will respond and speak your name live on the Life Mastery Show. So I was down in Byron Bay yesterday. I went down there and delivered a presentation in the community centre with something that is a healthy aspect, and that's about the finance and getting some financial education in one's life. So I was down in Byron Bay with Skyway Invest Group last night, delivering down there. You can see a little bit of a flyer down there. I was down in Byron Bay with Stephen. And if you want to know a little bit more about bringing some financial education and power into your life, you can contact me around the world as well. But we do have something up on the screen. As from Karen McAllister. Hello. I've just had a loss that's close. My son's dead. I'm struggling in eating. Any ideas in my strength up? Thank you. Yeah, so thank you, Karen. I would suggest in terms of struggling to eat, because if you're going through something often, can't be bothered to eat, can't be bothered to drink, can't be bothered to look after ourselves because we're in the grief, we're in some emotion. But holding oneself together through grief, through any emotion, it takes a toll on the body. So this is about self-care, this is about self-love. So when we're in a space of going through some emotion, particularly if it's some loss, some grief, it's really important to have the self-care. And one way to have the self-care is to eat really healthily. So if I'm going through some emotional process in my life, and they're quite common sometimes, whether that's grief or some other aspect of emotion, I still make sure that I'm looking after myself. I'm still clear of what I eat. So I'm still eat good food. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I go out the way and eat a bit of junk. Sort of the 90-10 principle. It's okay occasionally to have a little bit of something. But usually it's about how do I look after myself, because the emotions do take a toll on the body, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So it's really important, really important. So I'd be saying, get some highly nutritious snacks. Go and get yourself some really good organic fruits and nuts. So you may not feel like sitting down and eating a meal because you're going through some grief, or socializing and sitting and cooking. But if you have some healthy snacks, some really good organic almonds or some really good organic fruit, just to snack on, particularly fruit, because fruit it's got a little bit of a sugar content as well that gives it a bit of a lift, and it's highly nutritious and easy to eat. You can just have a big bowl of grapes and oranges and apples and pineapples and all those things. So really important to keep that nutrition up. If you don't feel like big meals, just snacking. But please, I keep reiterating to people, eat healthy, organic or biodynamic food, because it's nutritious. It hasn't got the poisons and the pesticides that have an impact on the body, and you get that nutrition value that helps to hold the spirit that I spoke about just now. So I hope that helps a little bit. So snack well on good, healthy, organic food. So Nikki, I was wondering what your view is on fluoride in water and toothpaste. I've heard it's not good for us. Okay, great question, Nikki. Thank you. What happens with fluoride? It attacks the pineal gland, and it stops consciousness coming through. Yeah, so there's a lot of fluoride in most waters in Australia, unfortunately. So I'm very clear that if you do have fluoride in your water, in your tap water, then at least get some way of cleansing it, cleaning it. If you don't have any filter or anything, a good way to do that is to actually put your water out in the morning in a big bowl, and then just stir it occasionally, just to evaporate and to let some of that evaporation come off the water. It still smells. You'll still be able to smell it and taste it. But I would suggest filter it, or better still, do not drink it. Do not drink it. Now find a way to really filter that out. I use a Kangen machine that brings my water to a nice pH of I actually drink 9.5 pH, but it filters the water and it takes so much out of it. So because it locks up and calcifies or stops the spirit coming through from the pineal. And there's a lot of research on it. If you just Google the effects of fluoride on the pineal gland in particular, there's incredible amount of evidence out there that pertains to stopping that consciousness coming through. So no wonder, let's look at it from the conspiracy perspective. It's I wonder why they're really putting fluoride in the water, because once again, depending on which side of the fence you sit, if you go and talk to a dentist, he'll say fluoride's fantastic for the teeth and stops decay. But you look at the other evidence, and there's actually no evidence around that. It's a bit of a myth, a bit of a furphy. But what it does do in the water, it stops people being free thinkers. It stops us being conscious. It stops us from having and bringing ourselves, if you like, to that life mastery, because it's a control mechanism. That's the far-fetched side of things, or the conspiracy side of things, or the truth maybe. You have to make your own mind up on that one. I don't want to imply anything that sets my belief systems into your belief systems. You have to do the research and come to your own conclusions. But for me, I won't drink fluoridated water. If I go to a cafe or restaurant, I ask what the water source is, and if it's tap water, fluoridated water, I won't drink it. I'm really quite particular about not drinking fluoride or chlorinated water. I try not to do both. So please do your own research, Nikki. You're going to find out, but please, if you have to drink the tap water, filter it as much as you can. If you can't get a filter, at least have the water, sitting there for a few hours before you drink it, because it will do a little bit of evaporation, particularly the smell around it. But it's best to filter it, because yes, the fluoride does have an impact on us, particularly in the toothpaste. Well, I don't use toothpaste with fluoride in it at all. I haven't for 30 years. It's something I just refuse to buy. And if you go to the supermarket, you can get fluoride-free toothpaste, and just as good, because there is a lot of evidence now saying that fluoride is not what keeps the teeth clean. It's stop eating sugar. So that's the answer to that. If you want to keep healthy teeth, take sugar out of your diet, because that's the actual real problem, because that's what causes the decay. And the fluoride doesn't protect it, but if you take sugar out of your diet, then that's more beneficial to having really healthy teeth. So, Nikki, yes, I wonder, thank you very much for buying spring water for a year now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, once you've had, for people to know this, once you've taken yourself off of fluoride and chlorinated water, it's really hard to go back. The taste, the smell, the effect on the body is quite amazing. So I suggest, if you haven't done the transition yet, go and do it for 7 days. Go and get some really healthy, good water, spring water, or filtered, Kangen water, or whatever else you use. And then after 7 days, go back and smell and taste the fluoride and chlorinated water. It's just not nice. So so thank you, Nikki. And Karen, thank you for the question. I hope that helped sort you out, because this is all about helping you to bring that more life mastery into your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And the more we look after our bodies, and we're cautious and careful of what we do or do not put into it, then we can hold that spirit. We can be in a healthier space to get more in touch with spirituality and our spirit guides. And if you're working in that spiritual space through mediumship, etc., just to hold that energy of what's coming through in a stronger and clearer place. Because, when you're unhealthy, there's a lot of toll on the body, and it takes a lot of energy for the body, particularly around the etheric body, or the healing aspect of our body, to keep nurturing and regenerating to keep us healthy. That's a lot of hard work, 24/7, every single day. So the more we can help that by watching our diet, watching our food intake, watching our liquid intake, watching what we do for medication. Personally, I don't do medication. I haven't done Panadol for like 15, 20 years. The only time I do it if I'm really, 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 really in need of it. And I've not really been in need of it for 15 or more years now. So I just steer away from any medical intervention as much as I can. Obviously, sometimes I might have to go and get sewn up or stitched up from the doctor, but that's as far as it goes. I don't want to put it in my body. I don't do alcohol. I don't do drugs. I don't do medication. I just choose to be clear, and that's my own personal choice. And I like to encourage people to look at what they're doing for themselves. How can you improve your health by what you do or do not put into your body? So that's a little bit of a focus today. So I'm hoping this is a bit of a steering for people listening in. So if you have any more questions, and remember, if you ask a question, what you need to do, you need to PM me, Adrian Hanks, on Facebook, or go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and go to the contact page. Send me a contact and an email, and we will connect up. I just need your mailing address, and I will be sending you out a copy of Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret, my beautiful little children's book that's been illustrated by my friend Clinton. I've written a story. It's a beautiful book based on a true story, actually, when I was a child in the UK. So it's a very beautiful book. And so far, Nikki and Karen, you will be receiving a copy of that book, but you just need to PM me, Adrian Hanks, on Facebook, or go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and send me some details, and you will be receiving one of those books in the post. So I'm really looking forward to posting those out. I've got a few to post out. So if there's any more questions, if anybody else wants a copy of that book, you're very welcome. And on that website, adrianhanks.com, you can also see some of the programs and things I offer in terms of supporting people. I do have a few programs coming up, and one of them you may be interested in is starts next week. It's the 7 conditions of spiritual development. So I've been using those 7 principles or guidelines for the last 20 years. They come from Rudolf Steiner, from my teacher, and I love to teach those 7 conditions of spiritual development. So we do that over 7 weeks. We do 1 condition each week, and we go for 7 weeks. And that is on my website, adrianhanks.com. So please go and have a look if you're interested in jumping on board and doing that 7-week course with us. Monday nights, for 1 hour, and I'll also be setting up a Facebook page for chatting and sharing more information around that. So I'm looking forward to sharing that journey with anybody else who wants to jump on and be part of that 7-week journey. So Debbie, the doctor gives me sleeping tablets, but I try to avoid. I only use them when I'm desperate. So Debbie, the question for me is, what's stopping you from going to sleep? And not to jump too deep on my pedestal, it's an okay place to be. The tall poppy syndrome is big in Australia, where people try to chop us down. So I try to avoid that. And I say this not from an ego perspective, but to support people, because you can train yourself to go to sleep. So I'm a meditator. I've been meditating now for over 20 years regularly. And what I've done is I've learned to be able to turn the button off, so the off switch. So when I go to bed at night, it infuriates my wife sometimes, but I can put my head on the pillow, or I can sit here in the chair right now, close my eyes, off button, drop into the another state, and be asleep within usually under a minute, sometimes 30 seconds, and no more than 2 or 3 minutes. And it's the off button, learning to breathe into it. So I'd suggest learn to train yourself, like do some meditation before you go to bed. Make sure there's no TV before you go to bed. Make sure there's no caffeine or alcohol in your system before you go to bed. And really try and reverse that if you can, because sleeping tablets, yeah, I know they help occasionally, but they have an impact on the body. They really do. I would suggest, when you have them, pull out that great big long sheet that comes in the little box with it, with all the side effects. Or find out the name of the tablet and type it in, Google it, and look at the side effects. Because the side effects often with medication are much, much, much more than the thing they're actually trying to heal. So I would suggest, really bring your consciousness in here, Debbie. And you may need them, less and less and less, but find other ways to sleep. Find some natural remedies. And maybe find some valerian. Valerian's a natural herb that will help you to sleep. Chamomile tea will help you to relax and sleep. Meditation will help you to relax and sleep. So you can find some alternatives, valerian, chamomile, meditation, no alcohol, no TV, and all those other things to help you in that sleep process. And a good way to fall asleep as an exercise for those that have struggled to sleep is when you're on the mattress in the bed and you close your eyes and breathe, imagine that you're dropping into the mattress. Imagine just letting go, because a lot of lack of sleep is because the body's still tense. And this is one exercise I learned many, many years ago to help me in my trying to go to sleep. And it's just about allowing the body to drop and relax, drop and relax, drop and relax, drop and relax. Because oftentimes we get a bit quite tense because of what's been happening during the day. So if you have something going on, just imagine yourself just falling into the mattress. And then again, falling into the mattress. And falling into the mattress. And sinking into the mattress. And usually you do it 6 or 7 times. By the time you get to the 6th or 7th one, you're gone in your sleep. So it's a really great exercise. So once again, PM me, Adrian Hanks, on Facebook, or go to my website, adrianhanks.com. Go to the contacts, send me your contact details, send me your address in there, and I will post out a copy of Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret to you if you'd like a copy. So Debbie, you need to do that too. And Lynn is now asking a question. So Lynn, also PM me. I need your mailing address, or go to my website, adrianhanks.com, to contacts and do that. And or you can send me an email from the website with that address, and I'll send you out a copy. So Lynn, drinking organic turmeric, pure juicing and smoothies, no gluten for 4 months now. I will not go back. Feeling clean. Meditation is a huge part of life for me. To blessings and love. More, just going to click more. How can you be part of a 7-week course? How much is it cost? Okay, so how can you be a part of that? You can go to my website, adrianhanks.com, go to the shop or the store, have a look in there. It's $160 for that course for 7 weeks. And if you need to pay it off in 2 payments of 80 and 80, then please contact me. But otherwise, go to the website. You can just pay on there in the shop. With your credit card or your PayPal. If you want to pay me directly, just PM me and I'll send you my bank details. And if finance is an issue, give me a call and we can have a conversation. But yeah, $160 are like really really cheap course, 7 weeks. It'll really put you in good stead in about, finding out what it is to be really deeply in the spiritual path and having some support around that. It's a really powerful 7-week journey to really embrace and deepen your spiritual journey. So Lynn, yeah, thank you for the question. So you get a book as well. So remember to send me a message, PM me, and I just need your mailing address to be able to send that out to you. And I'll send all those out tomorrow. And it's just a beautiful little book. And I thought, what can I do today to make the show extra special? And that's give a few of copies of the book away. So I hope that helps. And you'd love to see you then if you want to join us on that 7-week course, the 7 conditions of spiritual development. I've actually been using those conditions or guidelines for over 20 years. They were given by Rudolf Steiner, and who's my main spiritual teacher, has been now for over 25 years. And it's a very, very, very powerful journey on really bringing ourselves more into alignment on our spiritual path. Because as you know, personal development and spiritual development is not an easy journey. And oftentimes, if we don't get the guidance, it's easy to fall off that path and get caught up in other things. So just having that guidance to give us a really solid foundation is very important. And I've been lucky enough in my life to have many, many good teachers to help me have that foundation to hold me in good stead on my journey, both physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So I hope that helps, Lynn. So it starts next week. It's $160 for the 7-week course, and you can just sign up directly on my website, or please PM me and give me your contact details. And if you want me to phone you and have a conversation, just put your phone number in there and I will contact you. You can also grab me on Facebook, Adrian Hanks. You'll see the picture of me there. I think the picture is me playing Didge on my Facebook page as well. So please go and have a look and do make a contact. So if anybody else, any more questions in there with regards to all things life mastery, because that's what this show is about. It's about helping and supporting you to bring yourself more in alignment with your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and many other aspects. And just a bit of if you go to my website, if you go to adrianhanks.com and go to the shop, there's actually another freebie on there for you, and that is the journal. I'm a great believer in journaling, and I've got a journal with 10 different life aspects in there that you can use as a self-evaluation of where you are right now in your life and to help and support you to bring yourself more into alignment. So that's on there as well. I love to support people in whatever way I can. Sometimes, there's freebies, and other times it's a matter of payment, because I like exchange, and it's what I do for part of my living is work in that therapeutic and guidance space. And I do, like everybody else, I do like to get some money in my pocket so I can have an amazing life too. So I love the exchange. So please do contact me and come and join me if you'd like to on that 7-week program. So any more questions out there? Any more questions? Some great questions so far, particularly on the fluoride and a couple of other things we've had. So this is about you empowering yourself and you bringing yourself more into alignment with all things life mastery. So here we go again, some good water. Very important to keep the liquids up. So let's see if we have any questions popping up on the screen. If you want to elaborate a little bit more for anybody who has already asked a question, you can also do that as well. And for anybody listening into the recordings, oftentimes what I say is when people ask a question, it's often not just for themselves, but it's actually for the collective consciousness as well. So any questions that come forth are often not just personal and individual. They actually help many, many, many other people, because a lot of people have the same question. So if you do have a question, remember it's often not just for you. It does drop into that collective consciousness and it helps other people too. So Lily Des, where am I based? I'm currently living on the Gold Coast in Australia, and been here for 5 or 6 months now. I was down in Sydney for a while, but I've been in Australia for 30 plus years. So I'm actually from England originally, and lived in England, lived in Berlin for a few years, and before the wall came down, lived in South Africa for a couple of years, and based now on the Gold Coast in Australia, and just moved here 6 months ago. So loving it here, not very far from the ocean, and a very different atmosphere here than down south in Sydney. So that's where I'm based, and I do see people one-on-one personally. I do a lot of online work these days, but I do have space for people to come and see me directly, either in my studio or oftentimes out in nature. I love to do nature therapy with people and connect with people in nature. And I've also got a space down here in our community space where I can see clients too. But a lot of my work these days is actually online, unless people obviously live locally or unless they want to travel to see me. But I also run workshops as well, different workshops around Australia and overseas. I'm often traveling. I'm actually heading off overseas again in a couple of weeks' time, back over to Belarus, where I'm involved with a Skyway Invest Group, which is the financial component of my life, because there's many aspects to our life that we need to keep healthy, and oftentimes one of those is the financial sphere, or the financial aspect of our lives, and bringing that into alignment. So for the last just over a year now, I've been studying with a teacher, Andre Havato, who's a multidisciplinary investor, and working with Skyway Invest Group. And it's a multi-level crowd investing group that I'm part of. And we fund many projects across the planet. And from being part of that, I get lovely financial reward. So it's a great place to be. So heading overseas again. And then in October, I'm heading off to India for a week, or probably 10 days, also for Skyway Invest Group. We've got a 5th year anniversary celebrations over there, and I will be doing some leadership training over there with the CEO and a master class as well. So pretty exciting times. And for me, it's all about doing the things I love. And I love to teach, I love to travel, and I love to write. So from a vocational perspective, that's what I love to do. And this company allows me to do all 3 of those things. And so I get beautifully rewarded financially for doing what I love. So it's pretty special. So this is all part of the Life Mastery. It's about learning to do what one loves to do, and then getting rewarded for it, financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in relationship, and all the other aspects. And I say the only way you really can get into that space of doing what you really love and being rewarded is to get really clear on your vision. What do you really want to do in life? And that's what I do well. That's what I help people to create their vision. What do you really want to do? What's the wish? What's the wish? What do you really want to do? And when you're really clear on that vision, then you can start making plans and then putting things into action. Yeah. So we visualize it, we plan it, and then we take action. We actually do the doing. And then you bring yourself more into alignment. And when we do what we love doing, the physical body is in a much better place. The mind is in a much better place. The emotions and the spirit are in a much better place. So what I love to do is to empower people to be doing what they love doing in all aspects of their life as much as they can. So I'm very happy to support you. What I offer people who come on to this Life Mastery show is a free 30-minute consultation with me to ascertain where you are right now and what it is you want to get out of life, and then to see if I can actually support you in that. But I do a 30-minute free consultation. So you can go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and type in an appointment there with me. And we'll do that by Zoom or phone, depending on where I am and what I'm doing at that part of the day. But it's a great way to connect and have 30 minutes just to meet with somebody, talk to somebody and say, this is where I am right now in my life, and this is what I'd like to achieve. And then what is the support system in that? And maybe I'm part of that support system to help you to attain what it is you're wishing and desiring in life. Because we all have desires, we all have wishes, we all have things we want to achieve. And as I know from my own journey, oftentimes without coaching, without support, that's actually a very hard place to get to, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So if you'd like some support in that, 30-minute free consultation. So today it sounds like there's lots of free stuff going on today, doesn't it? Free things on my website with the journal. A free book for anybody who asks a question today. Even a question of where are you based? That is a question, Leela. So send me details and you will get a book, because I will honour that you did ask me a question. Where are you based? But maybe, Leela, you might have a question about your own life as well. That's a question to help support you in something that's going on for you right now in your life where you may need a little bit of support, because that's what this show is all about. It's all about me supporting you as much as I can when you ask a clear question. So if there's any questions out there, please do type them on the screen here, and I will do my best to give you an answer. So while I'm waiting for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a little bit of didgeridoo. So for those that don't know, I'm also a didgeridoo player, and it's one of my wonderful didgeridoos. It's actually got the serpent on it, or the wanabe in Aboriginal law, and it's a beautiful didgeridoo that's made by somebody down in Victoria, the Yorta people, down on the Murray River. So I'm just going to sit back here and just play a little bit of didgeridoo for you for a few minutes. And while you're listening in, maybe it's time to think of a question to type up on the screen for me so that we can keep the show going with some questions. There we go. Love playing the didge. It's really fantastic and great for the breathing. And you might have noticed I was doing some circular breathing there. So part of the didgeridoo playing is that continual breath through the didge while we're playing. It's very energizing. I love playing the didge. It doesn't actually drain me, it energizes me. And when I drop into that didge trance and I get into the zone of playing, it is quite an incredible experience. So yeah, absolutely love playing the didge. I've been playing it now for 21 years I've been playing the didge, and I teach it as well. I love doing my didge workshops. Also love to do the didgeridoo vibrational healing as well, where I place the didgeridoo just close to the body, just off the body, and then people get that resonance and the vibration of the didge, and I do the chakra healing and chakra work with the didgeridoo with people. You know, we play through the 7 main chakras, or any part of the body that's in sometimes in pain or going through needs some clearing. The vibration of the didge seems to bring about that change, and it's an amazing experience to have some didgeridoo vibrational healing. So just totally love it. So something I try to do often is play the didge and go bush. I went to the national park up at Mount Tambourine last weekend and took my didge up there and sat down in the bush playing the didge there, and what an amazing experience. So it's I really love it. So there's a little gift for you today as well, a bit of didgeridoo. So I've signed up for the 7-week course. How do we get into Monday night? Okay, hi Nettie, yeah, hi. I know you're coming along. It's fantastic. I will be sending you a link for that, Nettie. You'll be get a Zoom link because it's all on Zoom. If you haven't downloaded Zoom yet, I'll send you that link as well. So I'll be sending that out for you tomorrow so that you can jump on that course. And I'll have a little private Facebook group set up for that as well, Nettie, so that we all have a bit of a chat space in there as well. So it's going to be great. And it'll be great to have a crew of you. So if anybody else wants to jump on that 7-week course, because I know Nettie has signed up, we've had a conversation, and it'll be a fantastic course of traveling with some like-minded people for 7 weeks to embrace and deepen our spiritual foundation to do that work. So it is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks, Lynn. Yeah, look, it's a beautiful. I've got several didgeridoos, and this is the first Didge I actually ever ever got, and that was over 20 years ago. So this is a very, very special didgeridoo of mine. I've had a few over the years. I've actually made, I think, 45 didges now I've made, just myself. I go to the bush and collect the hollow sticks or the hollow logs, and I come back and carve them all up or paint them or put crystals in them and do different things. So I've had a few didgeridoos over the years. At one stage I had about 24 didgeridoos in the home, and then I was working with one of my coaches, and what came up was, Adrian, you've got to do some decluttering, and you have to get rid of your didgeridoos. You can only keep 5, so I had to get rid of 17 didgeridoos in one hit. So I sold some, I gave some away, I gifted some for birthday presents, I did a whole range. But I think in a month I got rid of 17 didges and reduced myself down to 5 or 6 didgeridoos. I think now I'm down to 4 very special ones. And so I do love the didgeridoo energy around me. So yeah, it's an awesome vibration. It really is. And what it does to my body when I play, Nettie, is it's pretty incredible. So so maybe when we do some of the 7-week journey together, we might incorporate a bit of didgeridoo vibration as well. So just for a bit of fun. So look, does anybody have any questions out there? I'd love to get the questions. Love to give some answers in terms of all things life mastery. How can I support you in bringing yourself more into alignment, more empowerment in your life? Because this is all about us empowering ourselves. For me, to be a better human being, to be a better representation of humanity, and I try to do that every single day. Because the world certainly needs to be changed. You know, it's teetering. There's a lot of great things happening on the planet, but there's a lot of destruction on the planet currently right now, you know, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And for me, the only way to change it is to take responsibility to bring ourselves into life mastery, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, with our study, with everything we do, to tread and walk with more consciousness on the planet. Because that's the only way it's going to change. We have to start with self rather than waiting for others to change. It's about bringing that responsibility back. So everything we put into our body, or choose to put into our body, choose not to put into our body, the way we choose to live our life, every step we take, every human being we meet, how conscious can we be in doing that? How conscious can we be? Because at the end of the day, it's a choice. I can choose to eat this thing or not. I can choose to drink this or not. I can choose to put that medication in my mouth or not. I can choose to meditate or not. I can choose to communicate in a certain way or not. I can choose to react or respond in a certain way. So it's all about bringing ourselves back into conscious alignment. And I can choose to be on a certain spiritual path. You know, what is my spiritual path? I can make a conscious choice to be in that and to be working on that every single day. And it's not easy work, as we know. You know, personal and spiritual development work is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. And to bring oneself into clear consciousness around that, it takes some effort. It takes some real hard work. And I love working with people who are willing to roll up their sleeves and to step in and do the hard work, because I know the results. You know, the students and the clients I've worked with over the last 25 years who've jumped in the journey and they've done the work. And I've done the work. It's not just an overnight quick fix. It's not, I'm going to teach you to meditate like a monk in 24 hours. This is serious, deep work. Sometimes you have to go and do some therapeutic work around clearing some blockages, clearing some old stories. Because once you get down the rabbit hole and once you really want to get there, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not fluffy work to get into spirituality. Spirituality is some of the deepest, hardest work on the planet if you want to get down the rabbit hole. So I encourage that, I support that, and I love for people to go down there because the results are quite incredible. They really are on so many different levels. So if that's where you want to be, jump on my website, adrianhanks.com, come and connect up with me. And so Nettie, let's have a look to see if you've asked a question. Yeah, you have. You've said, how do you get into the Monday night? So I've explained that. So Nettie, because you asked a question, you do get a book as well. So I just need your contact details, your postal address, and I will be sending you out a copy of Wendy and the Fairy Synchro 2, because that's the deal. If you ask a question, you'll get a copy of the book. But maybe there's a couple of questions here about helping to support people in terms of the life mastery a little bit more. Do you have a question from the physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual perspective that's going to help you to bring your life more into alignment? So if there is, please do ask a question. The hour goes pretty quick on this show. We've got about 15 minutes of the show left, so I'd love to be answering a few more questions if possible. So if you're on here and you have a question, please do ask away. And remember, I'm not answering those questions from that psychic ability of tuning into people who've passed over. This is about using some consciousness, some therapeutic, psychotherapeutic, and experiential answers to help you with your questions. So I come from that place of working from a coach and a therapist and somebody who's experienced in walking the journey of spirituality now for over 25 years. So please, if you have a question, do ask away, and I'll endeavour to give you the best answer or advice or inspiration or guidance that I can. Sometimes it's just nice to sit, isn't it? It's just nice to be, I enjoy it, just sitting and just being patient and just waiting and just being. One of my meditation teachers, I worked at a place in Victoria called the Gawler Foundation for many years with a man called Ian Gawler. And Dr. Ian Gawler is one of the foremost meditation teachers in Australia. He runs the cancer retreat centres down in Victoria, and I was quite worked there and spent a lot of time with Ian. And he'll say he was one of my main meditation teachers. Learned some great meditation techniques with Ian, and he often used to share that we are human beings, not human doings. So just to be sometimes rather than being doing. So it's just a nice feeling just to be in that being space. And that's what I love about the show. Sometimes I can just sit and be patient and waiting. So Michaela, any examples? Examples of what, Michaela? What would you like an example of? A little bit more clarity, please, if you can. Please just type something in there. Just trying to understand what you mean by an example. An example of what? Well, Michaela, that is a question, because there's a question mark there. So if you send me your details, either PM me, Adrian Hanks, on Facebook, or I go to my website, adrianhanks.com, into the contacts and send me a connection up with your mailing address, I will send out a copy of Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret for you as well. But just elaborate, please, Michaela, if you would, just because I really want to answer that question. Any examples, and what do you mean by that? An example of what? So I was speaking about being a human being. Is that what you're asking, or is there something else? So I do love to be in that being space. Because when I'm playing my didge, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just being. I'm being in the resonance. I'm being in the vibration. I'm being in the zone. I'm not really thinking of anything else outside of just being in the zone playing my didge. And when I'm in that circular breathing process, that's like a deep, deep, deep meditation. And it's a very beautiful place to be. I can be in there for 30 minutes or 40 minutes just playing my didge, just dropping in and just being in the space, being in that zone, being with my didge. And what a great space. And I think every day is, finding a space to just be in meditation rather than have to go out and do things all the time. Because that's constant, when we're doing, it takes up energy. So just to recoup and just to be is just a great thing. So I'm not sure how many people, learn to just be in their life, but it's a great resource. It's just to be. So I think we might have lost Michaela. So I was hoping to get a bit more elaboration on what she meant by examples. Because I'm not quite sure what she meant by examples of what. So if there's any other questions out there, please do let me know. So I really want to help and support you in your life journey. So if you have anything that's sitting in your mind right now about getting some support of some sort, any questions on physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, relationships, sexual, intimate, vocational questions on supporting you, then please do ask them here. Remember, it's public, so I only ask what you want people to see. If you want to be a bit more private, you can call me and get your free 30-minute consultation, which you can do by going to my website, adrianhanks.com, and just booking in that 30-minute free consultation with me. So, but if you want the book, you do need to send me your details, PM me, or go to the website. And like I was chatting to Nettie earlier, if you want to come and do that 7-week, 7 conditionals of spiritual development, then also go to the website and you can book in directly there. If you want to contact me first and have a conversation and pay me directly rather than doing it through my website, then you can also do that. We have many ways to connect and get you going. So it'll be a great 7-week journey with some like-minded people, and you'll be very welcome to come and join me and the group that's forming. So let's just see any more questions flying up on the screen. No, I think we did lose Michaela. I think that did not continue. Sometimes in life, isn't it, we just get left hanging with something. It's like, oh, just being in the space. Just allowing oneself to be in that space when something starts to hang, We'll have a question. We're not quite sure of what that question is. And life is a bit like that. We get sent many, many questions that we can't answer or they're not clear. And we just have to be in the moment with it. Not getting caught up in the emotion behind it. Not getting caught up in the response to, in the reaction to it. But just sitting in a response to it. Just being. It's a great place to be. And finding tools to be. Having my Didgeridoo as a resource where it helps me to just be. So sometimes finding a bit of a resource in that space is pretty special too. We're talking about looking after one's body, having a good old smoothie to get the day going, and do love my fruit smoothies. Because it's about choosing what we put in and do not put into our being. To bring ourselves back to what I started this whole show with, was that idea of nutrition, so that we can actually hold the spirit, so we can be the chalice, the healthy chalice, so that we can actually hold that spiritual energy. Because if we're not in a healthy space, and we haven't got that nutrition to help us, then it's like having a cup with holes in it, a bit like a sieve where things just fall through and we cannot hold it as strongly. So I want to thank you for those that did ask the questions today. There's been a few questions on here, and I'm going to come to a bit of the end of the show in a few minutes. So if you do have anything else that you'd like to ask, this is the last opportunity to do that before I close the show. It's always great to come on here on a Thursday. It's different every single week, different people, different questions, different energy, different opportunities. But I will ask you, if you've got anything, please do go to adrianhanks.com and tune in, check in there, go to the shop, look at the things I have to offer. And if you want to get your 30-minute consultation, then please do contact me. And for those that have asked questions today, you will get a free copy of Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret. So I'm going to send you all love and blessings. And I really want to thank you for being here on this show. And I'll be here again next week at midday. So remember, do contact me to get that book. See you. Take care.